Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Chef Carl from Cooking and Grilling with Carl. And in this video, I'm making for you some steak and cheese grinders with cowboy butter on the Blackstone Griddle right after this. Alright, before we get started with this recipe, let me show you all the ingredients that I'm using. Also, the list of the ingredients will be down in the description below along with their measurements. Alright. Alright, so right here I'm just chopping up some mushrooms. Alright, so here I'm chopping up some onions. Here I'm chopping up some flat leaf parsley, which is going to go in the cowboy butter. Next up, I got some chives that I'm chopping up, also going in the cowboy butter. The next few things that you're going to see me chopping, they're all going to go into the cowboy butter. And right here, I'm also going to pull off some thyme sprigs. That's going to go into the cowboy butter as well. Alright, so I'm just giving everything a nice chop so I can make sure all the leaves and everything are nice and even. Alright, so right here I'm chopping up a shallot. That's also going in the cowboy butter. So as you can see, I'm doing a really small dice on the shallots. Alright, here I'm going in some fresh garlic. And I'm doing about 4 cloves of garlic. Right here I'm going in with some lemon zest. Right here I'm going with the juice of a half a lemon. Right here I'm going in with some Dijon mustard. Right here I'm going in with some smoked paprika. Next I'm going in with some crushed chili flakes. Right here I'm going in with some salt. And of course pepper, fresh ground pepper. And some horseradish sauce. So right here I'm going with my herb Kerrygold butter. Now I got all my ingredients prepped for my cowboy butter. So right now I'm getting ready to cut up my steak. And for this steak grinder, I'm using blade steak. Right here I'm just making sure my knife is nice and sharp. Alright, so I'm cutting it up into small strips. And for this recipe, you can use flank steak, you can use sirloin, you can use ribeye. You can use whatever cut of beef that you would like to use. I took a chance with using blade steak and it actually came out delicious, as you'll see at the end. But some people might be intimidated to use this type of this cut of meat because they think it's going to be a little bit too tough. But that's why I'm cutting it up small like that. You definitely want to cut against the grain. If you cut with the grain, you're going to make your meat stringy and it's going to be a lot more tough when you're eating it. So always cut your meats against the grain. Alright, so I got my blade steak all cut up. So now I'm just going to season that up. Right here I'm going in with some Italian dressing. Right here I'm going in with some Killer Hogs barbecue rub. Right here I'm going with some Savory seasoning salt. And finally I'm going in with some steak seasoning. And I know this is kind of overkill, but I really want some good seasoning on this meat. Alright, right here I'm just going in with the rest of the chives that I had laying around. Might as well throw those in too. Just going to be additional flavor. Alright, so I'm giving everything a nice mix, making sure that seasoning is all coated on the meat. And also, Italian dressing is a great way to marinate your meats, your chicken, a lot of different things. It gives it a nice, it has a lot of the ingredients, you know, that you need to marinate or season meat. Alright, so right here I got a nice big Italian grinder roll. So I'm going to take out some of the bread because I don't want too much, you know, I don't want it to be too doughy. So I'm going to take out some of the bread on both sides. Little trick I learned from going to different grinder shops, watching how they make the grinders. Alright, so I got that all done. So now we're headed out to the Blackstone Griddle. And right here I'm just going down with some cooking oil. And here I'm going down with my meat. And now I'm going down with my onions and mushrooms. And as you can see, I have the butter sitting on the Blackstone melting. That's where I'm going to make my cowboy butter in. Alright, so I'm just giving the onions and mushrooms a nice mix, making sure everything is touching the flat top. Alright, right here I got some citrusy garlic seasoning I got from Trader Joe's. So I'm going to throw that into with the cowboy butter as well. Alright, and so I'm giving that butter a nice mix. I also threw in about 6 tablespoons of regular butter, meaning the Kerrygold butter already had herbs in it, so I threw another stick of regular butter in there just to kind of put more butter in there, so I wouldn't have too much of my shallots and herbs and everything. Alright, so I'm giving everything a nice mix. And that bowl pretty much contained everything that you see me chopping up in the kitchen. Alright, so right there you got the cowboy butter. That's all set, so I'm setting that to the side. Now I'm going to focus on my meat mixture, getting that nice and cooked. Alright, so right here I'm going down with a little bit more seasoning, that Killer Hogs barbecue rub, and everything is pretty much done. The meat is cooked, the onions are caramelized, the mushrooms are cooked. So right here I'm just portioning out my meat so I can get ready to start forming these grinder rolls for you, these grinder sandwiches for you. All right, so now I'm going down with my provolone cheese. Now I'm going throwing that grinder roll on top. That's going to melt the cheese really good. And so I'm just closing the lid to get that cheese melted really lovely. All right, so the cheese is all melted. The bread is nice and warm. So obviously I'm not going to try to eat one of these sandwiches, you know, these joints are like 16 inches long. So I'm cutting them in half right on the flat top. And I'm gonna get 4 sandwiches out of them. Really and truly, you probably could get like, 5 or 6 sandwiches out of this. So right here, I'm just flipping them over, getting them ready to throw that cowboy butter on top. All right, so here I am topping the grinders off with the cowboy butter. And at this point, the whole recipe is done. So, boom, steak and cheese grinders with cowboy butter on the Blackstone Griddle. Done by yours truly, Chef Carl from Cooking and Grilling with Carl. I just want to thank everybody that checked out this video. If you like this video and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. Definitely supports the channel and helps me out. Also, you can catch me on social media at Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and Facebook. I have a Facebook group that you can join called Cooking and Grilling with Carl, where I post my videos, and you can also post some of your cooking content if you're a content creator or a home chef or whatever. All right, so, and also if there's recipes that you want to see me make, just leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. All right, so I appreciate you for checking out this video. God bless. Peace.